Yeah, let's talk about Jared Leto feeling alienated.
Let me get the picture ready.
I love that he's so fucking butthurt about Joker, like it was his baby. You know, it was funny when we were recording this earlier. You were like, you know what? There were all these formative Joker performances, and I meant to come back. You completely skipped over Jared Leto,
and that was unintentional. Yeah, completely. I forgot he played him because he didn't play him.
He didn't play him.
He played some damaged fucking goth.
He played some sexy goth in like from
I love
Hot Topic.
To sexy.
He's sexy Joker, which is just wrong. You know,
not with those eyebrows.
No, yeah. Oh my God,
some chung one with those eyebrows.
Jesus, the original design for this. He looks like he's fucking had his eyebrows tattooed around the flats or something, you know?
Around the flats.
Yeah, fucking hell. It's despicable. I love the caption as well. This is an early Joker makeup test. The research and fine-tuning that went into crafting a characters are endless.
Fine-tuning?
Jesus Christ.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. It's such bullshit. Oh, I hate everything about it.
I'd like to think he's not even posing. This is him just so happy.
Yeah, he loves
that he's playing the Joker.
I don't even think it is him.
I'll never feel alienated.
No. Oh my God, I'm going to have this role for years. People are going to be talking about this forever.
They thought Heath Ledger was good.
Yeah, wait till they get a load of me.
Oh, I like it.
Wait till they get a load of me. Yeah, it feels alienated. Look, you know, a part of that is to do with
him being shit.
Him being shit. Bad directing.
Too sexy.
The movie's direction.
Could you bring down the sexiness? Yeah, I really can't, guys. I really can't.
I'm the lead singer in a band. I don't know if you know that.
I'm naturally this sexy. This is me at 1.
Yeah, this is me at 1.
You don't want to see me at 10.
Flaccid? Erect. Yeah. Flaccid? Erect.
6 midnight. 6 midnight.
Should we start the podcast?
We should.
Welcome to episode 22 of Straight to Series.
And this one is a singing special.
No, it's not.
Oh, no?
No, that's the
next one.
Next one.
Sorry.
One day we'll get that singing special like you want.
Fuck, man, I've been rehearsing.
But not this time.
I've been doing my octaves. Yeah. I've been doing my octaves.
Oh, very good. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, my name is Connor.
And I'm Ian. Please don't unsubscribe.
Please don't unsubscribe. This isn't a singing episode, we swear. This is a Joker episode.
Joker episode. Indeed.
So check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those good places.
Subscribe, all the good stuff.
But first, we're going to get straight into the box office this
week.
Straight to
series.
Box office. Series.
Let's do it.
Okay. So before we obviously saw the Joker and we're going to be talking about that,
yes.
But even before that, it was our kind of box office baby that we were looking at, and the Friday estimates just came out, right?
It's slaying.
Again. Yeah.
It looks like Zombieland might fall to it.
Yeah.
And this is his third weekend out. The estimates have it just beating Zombieland to double tap.
Yeah, at 32.5 million is what it's estimated at.
Yeah.
It's going to be beaten by Maleficent, they think, but it's holding strong second place.
And Maleficent is a big Disney film with Angelina Jolie. She
For some reason
still exists.
It doesn't hold, like, Maleficent coming out, like, it's blink and you'll miss it for me, but...
I thought that Angelina Jolie was swallowed by the earth when... Brad Pitt broke up with her.
Oh yeah, me too.
I was like, she still exists?
She still exists. So she's not dating my favorite Brad.
Oh, she's just not relevant anymore. Oh, I see.
Zing. You just got burned, Angelina Jolie.
Damn.
We side with your husband. This is terrible.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. But Joker is making it's 615 million at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to pass Justice League,
which is insane.
This weekend.
It's insane that Justice League is going to be beaten by Joker. A movie about a demented clown beats the box office of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the holy trinity of DC.
And we always forget Aquaman, who just made $1 billion.
Aquaman made $1 billion. That says so much about how DC was handling their movies, you know? was handling their movies, because Joker is a step in the right direction.
And we're hoping it continues.
Hopefully Birds of Prey isn't as bad as I think it'll be.
So Joker is slaying at the box office right now.
Really is.
So it has an estimated budget of 55 million.
Yeah.
And the highest estimate I could find was 70 million.
Yeah.
And it's on 619 million right now.
Yeah.
So it's a huge success right now. If
really
it made
is.
100 million less, it would be a huge success.
Absolutely. It's destroying for a movie that like is apparently going to turn us all into serial killers, but you know, it's amazing. And then how much were you saying the marketing budget was?
The estimate I could find, I think it was like the Hollywood Reporter was estimating the marketing budget at 120 million.
So even still, 175 million to including marketing budget. This movie is killing it.
It's such a success.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, when a movie is this successful, there's always talk of sequels, and we might get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, definitely. I assume Warner Brothers are just begging Joaquin Phoenix.
I mean, he wants to. That's
he does,
what's weird.
But he's an odd character.
He's an odd cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get as you said, we'll get into that.
We'll get into it later.
But right now, let's just talk box office. It's the fact that it's about to be Justice League is crazy.
It is.
And why it's crazy is because Justice League costs 300 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a production budget, and then they estimate another 300 million on top of that, 250, 300 million on top of that.
So Justice League made about €1 profit, basically.
Yeah, €1, €1.50, around there.
A chicken fillet roll profit is what Justice League
You could
made.
go to the Eurosaver menu.
Yeah,
in McDonald's.
Looky them! Wow.
Ooh.
Oh.
I'm going to get 1.5 burgers, please.
1.5 burgers, please. That's all for Justice League. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So there we go. Like, that's where it's sitting right now. It's about to beat the shit out of Justice League,
Jesus.
and rightfully so.
Yeah.
It deserves it. And
It does.
as we were saying, hopefully Warner Brothers wake up and go, oh, okay, we need to treat our characters differently.
Yeah.
We need to get directors with interesting takes.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be a bit bolder.
Yeah.
Stop looking at Marvel.
Yeah, basically.
They tried to emulate what Marvel's doing. It didn't work.
No.
And also, we've got a great connected universe with the MCU.
Absolutely.
So let's give us something different.
Just do whatever let people run wild, you know?
Yeah.
If you want to do a Batman trilogy, do a Batman trilogy. Don't feel the need to introduce other characters or whatever. Yes, it would be cool, but clearly you are incapable of doing that. So
Exactly.
maybe hold off.
And also, when you think about it, right, so the Joker is a smash hit right now.
Yeah.
I wonder if Todd Phillips, that's the director, he comes in and he's like, I want to do a Joker movie. And they're like, right, we can make this a big franchise. So you need to add this character and that character and that character in. And it'll all tie together. Just the way the Amazing Spider-Man tried to do that. The second movie is going to be all the villains. So they can be in the third movie.
We're going to have that villain origin lab where...
Exactly.
Yeah, where we're going to put all this stuff. We're going to put a little box of acid and a coin and then a question mark cane
Wink.
and everything.
You might see that later.
You know?
Wink, wink.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Same problem with Iron Man 2.
It is.
John Favreau said the same thing. Like, they were trying to build the MCU. So, like, sadly, like, there was parts of that movie that was just... I guess they just had to brush by it because they were trying to build the foundations of the MCU. So
I quite like Iron Man 2.
I know you do.
Yeah.
I
really like
goddamn
Iron Man 2.
Russian Mickey Rourke.
I want my bird. I want my bird.
And he just came off The Wrestler.
Yeah.
His best performance
Best
ever.
performance ever, and he goes straight into that.
Yeah, anyway.
And Justin Hammer, come on, that movie has redeeming qualities.
Sam Rockwell is a redeeming quality of any movie.
And Don Cheadle's War Machine.
Yeah, it was his first appearance.
Yeah.
But here, what were we saying?
We were talking about Justice League.
Joker, it wasn't restrained by like trying to build all these different franchises off it.
Doing its own thing really saved it. You know, it really helped it.
Yeah. The controversy definitely made a few dollars as well.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah. I've been talking to people that want to see this movie who never want to see those type of movies.
Yeah, you were saying this is one of those movies where people come up to you and be like, oh yeah, have you seen Joker? Because I have. And you were like, why did you see the Joker?
Yeah, I've got a few people like that. Even my friend that I rang, because I seen this twice.
Yeah.
And I rang him and I was like, hey, do you want to see the Joker? I'm going to see it with this other guy, another buddy of mine. And he was like, oh, I've seen it already. And he goes, oh, and don't ring Paul. He's seen it too. I was like, oh, really?
Jesus.
And he didn't see it together. Like, he's seen it with other people, like dates or whatever. But still, I was like, oh, you've seen?
Wow.
Because any a superhero movie that my mate Dave sees, it's because he's seen it with me.
Yeah.
Because he's not into those type of movies. So I was shocked when he told me he's seen that.
It's crazy that the Joker has that kind of draw, and it's not something you think of,
I think the controversy really helped.
Yeah.
It's so funny how all these PC nerds hashtag blah, blah, cancel culture made it more money.
Yeah.
It really did. It amplified the marketing.
It's insane. So we're gonna move on to the review. I think.
Yes.
Is there anything more to say about the box office?
Just that it's about to beat Justice League, which is amazing.
Hunk and skunk this week. Hunk for DC for doing something different. Skunk to DC for what they've done in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to get that out early in the podcast because we're going to do a non-spoiler review, and then we're going to go into heavy spoilers for the Joker.
Heavy spoilers.
And then at the end of it, we're probably going to talk about the Matt Reeves Batman for a bit.
Yeah, because there was some casting news that's quite exciting.
Yeah, so maybe, I mean, this is more work for you, but we'll try and do timestamps or whatever so you know when we're...
Exactly, yes.
We're going to do a non-spoiler for a bit, then we'll go spoilers, and then we'll Matt Reeves Batman. So we'll sort it out anyway. People who don't want it spoiled, you'll be able to skip, or you can just listen to the whole thing if you've seen it,
So this is the non-spoiler section right now.
So we're in the non-spoiler section right now. This is the safe zone. This is the kiddie area, if you will.
Yeah.
There's no sharp edges.
No sharp edges, just a psychopath clown that might kill you, but...
Exactly, but...
Ignore him.
Yeah, just ignore him. He sits in the corner, he does nothing. Yeah, for now. In the spoiler review, he'll do a lot.
He does everything.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's sitting at 68% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I know. I found that odd.
Yeah,
but
me
now
too.
the public reviews have been a lot kinder.
Absolutely. Well, it's a movie open to interpretation.
Here, this
is the problem.
tells the story right now.
Yeah.
So the total count of professional reviews is 488. That's not normal.
No.
You might get 200 to 300. That's huge.
Yeah, that's a huge group of people reviewing it.
And I think especially for reviewers, professional reviewers, all that controversy, you want to get in on it.
Yeah.
You want to see what it's all about because people love to go, oh, it is selling real world violence. It's promoting this and it's promoting that.
There's been a lot of reviews that I saw, and it's like they're questioning a lot that happens in the movie. But then I'm watching it, and I was like, that review makes absolutely no sense, because I've seen reviews where they're like, the question is, it's like, how does one downtrodden guy become some homicidal clown or whatever, notorious villain. That's not a spoiler, it's a Joker origin movie.
Exactly.
He obviously becomes a Joker.
Spoiler alert, he becomes a Joker.
He becomes a Joker at some stage, and it's like, how does he become this mastermind villain? But I was watching the movie and I was, it's just, I disagree with a lot of opinions out there.
Really? Because I felt like killing people after I seen the movie.
Yeah, me too. Well, I felt like killing people going in. And then this movie made me want to kill him more. Someone's phone went off in the cinema, actually.
Really?
In a Joker movie. Yeah. They're lucky it was a nearly empty theater. Oof.
Inspires real world violence.
It does.
Yeah. No, the controversy is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, it really is.
It really is.
And you should all go see this movie. I want to say that in the spoiler-free section. Everyone go see it. It's great. You already are.
I loved it.
Yeah, me too.
And you loved it.
I
seen it twice.
Yeah.
I only seen it twice because I went on vacation just after I seen it. The day I was going to Portugal on Saturday, so I had my tickets booked for Friday, and I was like, I have to see that movie before I go away.
Yeah.
So then I spent a week in Portugal, and I swear to God, I was sitting on that movie, like I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
It was swimming in my head, and I wanted to see it in Portugal.
Yeah.
But it was not. It was really difficult. We were like 20 miles from the nearest cinema, and then we went to a different town. And we were still like 15 miles. I'm like, how did we travel 10 miles and we're still 15 miles away from it? It was not working out. Geography was against us. So
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, goddamn geography. So I really wanted to see it again, especially when we were going to do the review. I was like, I want to be fresh in my mind, especially because I knew you were going to see it just a few days before we do the podcast. And honestly, I loved it more the second time.
Which is crazy.
And it's such a dark, bleak movie. I was like, surely I won't enjoy it as much the second time.
My girlfriend was the same. She saw it before me, and we went to see it again together, and she loved it more. She loved it more the second time.
So I'm not the only one.
Yeah, she got more out of it.
My friend, who I seen it with the first time, I ring him up and go, do you want to see the Joker again? Yep.
Yeah.
I really want to see it again. He said he was going to go see it again either way.
Love it.
And he loved it more.
Again, the second time.
I was so surprised because there were certain things that I didn't like, and I was actually softer to them the second time around. I actually enjoyed them.
Yeah.
So some of the things I actually was like, oh, actually, I Love it.
Yeah.
Now,
when she was watching it, it was during all the scenes that are like kind of crazy and everything, because she knew they were coming. She would start laughing. She was like, she was laughing throughout. She was looking at me, kind of like, isn't this fucked up? You know, as if to like she was laughing because. Like the first time she saw it, she said she was horrified, but when she knew that certain things were happening, she was kind of like, "Oh, it's about to get fucking crazy here." And I was the same. I was watching this movie as like big time comic fan and everything like this. I was watching this movie and I had a big smile on my face, not because anything going on the screen was good or happy in any way, but I was just like, "This is a really good comic interpretation," especially during the Joker moments.
You're smiling at the quality.
I'm just smiling at the quality of them getting it right.
Yeah.
You know,
I totally understand that.
Yeah, I'm just like...
I got that towards the end.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is awesome.
Yeah. You're just smiling because like you're really enjoying the ride, you know?
And also, I smiled just at the end, really, where I was like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah.
But I was just so happy that it wasn't terrible because I had a lot riding on this movie.
Me too.
All the episodes coming up to this movie, I was like, I'm way too invested in this.
Yeah.
And when I was leaving, I was like,
thank God, relief.
Pressure.
Yeah.
Pressure's off my shoulders.
I didn't think it was a real movie, as I've said.
Yeah.
I don't think these movies are real until they come out. And because Joker is so good, I am now excited, we'll get into it, about Matt Reeves' Batman. I can see that as a real movie now, thanks to Joker.
I recall a year ago, just over a year ago, we were talking about this movie in work. We both worked together over the summer.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
And you were like, nope.
No.
I don't like the look of this.
I don't like it.
And I know you were like, okay, Walking Phoenix is pretty interesting. But then I recall there was the scenes of him running out of the subway or whatever.
No, it's when he walks off and he takes the mask off and he puts it down and everything.
And you were like, oh, that kind of looks
I kind of like that, yeah. I am... That's why I like, it's seeing him in the makeup and seeing the direction that they choose. You know, like him having this really unique Joker style to him, I think is an excellent idea.
Brilliant.
It's
and it was kind of the knee-jerk reaction to a lot of fans at first.
Yeah, knee-jerk was like, oh, he doesn't look like the Joker.
Yeah, wait, what is this?
But when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh no, this is perfect. This really fits him. And I want in a spoiler review, I want to talk about his appearance more because there's something about that I really love. But it's the same reason now that I want to see Matt Reeves' Batman suit. You know, like I really want to see what it looks like.
Yep.
And because then I'll know what type of take they're going for. You know, like seeing this comforted me because I was like, they're going completely different. They're doing their own thing. It's grounded. They're doing their own thing. I love it.
Yeah.
And I love this movie because not only do they manage to do their own thing, but they manage to do their own thing, make it grounded, and have the Joker's character, like some of the key elements of the Joker's character, be really prevalent in the movie.
Big time. I was so surprised at how he reinvented the character without me being angry at it.
Yeah.
Because I went in with like preconceived ideas about the Joker, and when it came out, I was like, oh, that changed my mind in a good way.
You have this amazing thing that you got from this movie that I think we should definitely get out in the spoiler-free part, because I love this.
Okay.
I love your take on this movie, you know?
Sure. Well, what I was saying to you earlier was that I had loads of preconceived ideas about the Joker as a character because I grew up with him. Like you were saying yourself, actually, it was just off air, but you were saying like you hear the Joker's voice in your head. You hear Mark Hamill because you've watched it for years. You know, it's ingrained in your childhood.
Yeah.
And I got that with the 90s Batman, the Batman the animated series.
Yeah.
And then I went and watched the Tim Burton movies where we seen Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
Yeah.
So we had Mark Hamill as the Joker, Jack Nicholson as the Joker. And then Heath Ledger just dick kicked me with quality. I was like, oh my God.
Not to derail you, but have you seen the script and the scene comparison for The Dark Knight Rises?
No.
You know when he...
Please tell me he takes liberties.
Oh yeah.
Brilliant. That's what I want to hear.
When he goes into a party and he's like, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen," and you see the screen, the script, and it's like, you know, he's like, "Where is our Harvey Dent?" or whatever. But you know, then what he does is he's eating, and like he's eating,
and he takes the champagne.
Takes the champagne, and he walks up and he starts smacking. You know where he is? Do you know where Harvey is?
He does something weird with one of the guys or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, "Do you know where Harvey is? Do you know where Harvey is?" He does that. It's like in the thing. It's just simple. It's like walks in. Where is Harvey Dent? Cuts to Batman, but it's the liberties he takes. It's so good.
So nuanced.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
So, well, like just speaking of that, you have such an idea of who the Joker is, and I felt like I had the Joker down, and I always assumed, let's call him Arthur Fleck for this, okay? I know he has different names Jack Napier
is Jack Nicholson.
in Tim Burton's 89 Batman 89.
Yeah.
So let's just call him Arthur Fleck for now. I always thought the Joker was Arthur Fleck at his purest form, where the restraints were taken off.
Yeah.
And that's who Arthur Fleck truly is. He's not Arthur Fleck is the fictitious character. Joker is the real person.
Yeah.
Where in this movie, it like flipped it in a great way for me. Anyway, I found it. I was watching it because I was watching when I left the cinema. I was like, why the hell did I love that so much?
Yeah.
And then the second time I watched it, I twigged it that I was seeing the Joker completely differently than I'd ever seen before and enjoying it, which is a big deal to do.
Yeah.
From a character that I've literally grown up with.
Yeah.
Like, Batman 89 came out the year I was born. So I'm fucking...
So now you know how old Ian is.
Yeah. Sorry. And, yeah, so I've like, grown up with the Joker. I had all these ideas. And when I watched Todd Phillips' Joker, he reinvented it for me anyway. He reinvented the wheel for me.
Yeah.
And what I seen was that the Joker persona, rather than like being his purest form, to me was like his life raft made out of madness.
Yeah.
But it was pulling Arthur Fleck out of the dirt that is Gotham City.
Yeah.
So I seen the Joker as this persona that helped him survive.
Yeah.
To survive Gotham City. And I love that. And I never seen it that way. Because like the Joker can treat the truth the way he wants to.
Yeah.
He can suspend reality and rewrite his own backstory. And I've seen like, so there's the famous quote where Joker, it's in the trailer, so no spoilers here, but he says that I used to think my life was a tragedy, but now I know it's a comedy.
Yeah.
That's a lie. It's a pure deep dark tragedy.
Yeah.
Like it's a tragedy to stain your soul. You know, like it's horrible, but the Joker can just create his own reality. And that's what I love about it. I just think it's like a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
And it's like self-preservation.
It's like Arthur Fleck it's like the Joker is there. He's like, hey Arthur, look, I'll protect you from all this with madness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm putting up a barrier. And I always love the famous quote from I don't know what Batman comic book it comes from, where the Joker says, if I had a backstory, I'd love it to be multiple choice.
Yeah, it's the Killing Joke. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When he puts the makeup on, when he puts the green hair dye in, he can have whatever backstory he wants.
Yeah.
Instantly it becomes multiple choice.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it.
It's
He's just rewriting his own history.
Basically. And it's great because like you even hear Joaquin Phoenix talk about it, and he's like, when he was in the makeup and in the suit and everything, when he's fully the character, he said it felt amazing.
The switch just flipped.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I just love that. So that's the way I took the movie.
I love that. I love that
I
interpretation.
really enjoyed that though,
Yeah.
because I was trying to break it down. You know when you love something and you're trying to put your finger on it?
Yeah.
Because you know how attached you get to how a character should be.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the Batman casting for Matt Reeves' Batman. And
Yeah.
it's like there's a lot of animosity there.
Totally.
Because you have your idea of who this character is,
Yeah.
how he should look,
Absolutely.
what age he should be,
Yeah.
what ethnicity he should be or
Yeah.
she should be as well. Like,
Yeah.
and I actually enjoyed Todd Phillips reinventing the wheel for me.
I love it. It's not like, I love that interpretation. It's not my interpretation, but I love it all the same.
Yeah.
And it shows to the quality of this movie that you have all these people coming away with it with different interpretations, thinking one thing and the other thing. And like we were also saying that just Joaquin Phoenix physically, he looks like the Joker. You know,
He's got all those pointy parts.
It's sharp edges. He's thin. He's kind of gangly and everything.
Looks like he could cut you with his knees.
Yeah,
like they're so sharp.
So sharp. He spends a lot of time shirtless and everything. And like,
He does, yeah.
like it's funny. Everything looks like a strain to Arthur Fleck, especially when he has his shirt off. You know, everything like takes a lot of energy to do. But when
He looks weak.
He looks
decrepit.
weak. But when he's the Joker, he can have these. It's almost like he's so powerful. Like he's so much. Even like. We'll get into it in the spoiler area. I'm going to write that down actually because I want to talk about that in the spoiler. But like when he becomes the Joker, all of a sudden he gets this physicality and he seems like a much bigger man than he actually is.
And that's how that's why I feel like I just see the Joker's extending his hand and just pulling Arthur Fleck out of the shitstorm that is Gotham and saying, hey, how about you look at things this way?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And what's more psychotic than laughing at tragedy?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like actually looking at the harsh edges that is Gotham City and laughing at it.
Yeah. Finding humor in it all.
It's amazing.
It's brilliant. So you should all see the movie. It's amazing. I think we've said all we can without spoiling it.
You know what though? I want to say that I read Collider gave a review and they didn't like it.
Yeah.
But they're like PC warriors.
They are.
But what they were saying when it did really well at the box office, it the second week around, it destroyed. Oh no, sorry, it was the opening week. It destroyed. It made records. It beat Venom's record. All
Thank
that.
God.
The October record now is held by Joker.
Excellent.
And I just remember reading that Collider said, I think when people see this, they were estimating that the second week would be a lot softer, which we now know was not the case.
Yeah.
The second week was huge.
Yeah.
And it only fell something like less than 50%. It fell in America, that is, which is huge. That's so good. I'm nearly sure Justice League fell over 60%.
Oh yeah.
In like 3 days, it fell.
It fell
massively.
very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
I think it has the record of like the fastest fall. Honestly, I swear to God, I'll look that up.
Yeah.
But anyway, Collider said that I think when people go see it, this is when they're talking about the first weekend. He goes, it'll be a lot softer in the second weekend because I think when people see it, they'll see that nothing is there and it's not at all thought provoking. And just listening, I was just thinking about our conversation and how deep we're getting into it.
It's not true.
And it's not thought provoking. Even if you dislike it, it's thought provoking.
And you always love when Collider's wrong.
Yeah, even though I actually they're great at reporting news on time.
Yeah.
But when they throw their opinions in like that, you're like, oh, come on.
9 times out of 10, I disagree.
Like, that's not, like, it's thought provoking. Even if you think it's a terrible movie.
Yeah.
It's trending everywhere. It's making all this money. It's obviously, all the controversy means it's thought provoking.
Yeah. It's topical, at least.
It's topical.
And actually, I was a bit quick to move into non-spoiler talk because there is one more element that we want to talk about. It's there's a video on YouTube and it's Todd Phillips breaking down the opening scene of the Joker. And whether you've seen the movie or not, I think it's worth a watch.
I got an education.
Yeah, me too. We were saying before the podcast that Todd Phillips, in your head you associate him with The Hangover and all these comedy movies.
Completely underestimated the guy.
Yeah, it's
naturally you would though as well. Like The Hangover, especially the second and third one.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a cash grab and it gets goofier and goofier.
Yeah, it's just it's really strange that you think of these like people as lesser directors because they're doing comedies, and it's just a pre-built-in bias that I have to get over, obviously, and just people have to get over.
I know. I do that all the time where I'm just like, oh well, surely he's not super technically minded.
Yeah.
He's not thinking about what lens he's using or what frame and the lighting.
Yeah.
Well, we're wrong.
We're totally wrong.
Todd Phillips is the man.
He's awesome. And watching him break down the opening scene of the Joker, it's just a treat to watch, and it adds so much. One thing he specifically highlights is Joker's run, and that Joaquin Phoenix had developed this whole run for the character, so much so that the stunt double couldn't be used in certain scenes because he couldn't do it.
He couldn't emulate the run.
He couldn't emulate the run. So, even when I was watching the movie, I was looking out for the run and trying to... Todd Phillips makes this point of like, I love seeing characters run because it tells you a lot about the character, And that's actually something that... I've watched a lot of those breakdown videos, and that's one of those things that I actually will take away from that, where I'm like, when I'm watching a character running, what is it telling me about them?
But here's the thing, though. Not every actor thinks like Joaquin Phoenix. Like, no. I know you're talking about Todd Phillips, but Joaquin Phoenix is the guy who made that run.
Yeah.
And I think they only realized on set, oh, well, like the stunt double doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Because Joaquin Phoenix is such a good actor that he designed
this
a specific run for the Joker.
Yeah.
And it's reused.
Yeah.
There's a number of times where he runs, and
totally.
Because you sent me the link, it's Variety.
Yeah, Variety,
Yeah, it's a YouTube clip from Variety.
It's a series. Like, they have a series of directors breaking down important
Christopher McQuarrie, got the Russo brothers, some really good people.
Taika Waititi.
Yes, Taika Waititi. And when you sent me the link to that, the second time I seen the movie, I was watching and counting how many times he ran. And I think at least 4 times you get to see that specific run.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that the clown shoes he was wearing had to be as big as possible where Joaquin Phoenix could still run in them.
Yeah.
Because you can't run in those shoes.
No, of course not.
They're huge.
Yeah. Also, like, he pointed out stuff... He pointed out stuff that I couldn't even see in the scene, but when I watched it in the movie, I was like, "Oh, I understand what he's talking about now."
Yes, big time.
You'll see it in it. It's in the opening scene as well. But the flower, You know, when he talks about, he still goes for the joke, you know, with
Yeah.
the flower and everything. I was
You
like,
can see the comedy and the pain.
yeah, exactly. He's still like, he's trying to go for the joke or whatever.
Still the Joker.
He's still the Joker, and it's a really good, like, right before the titles come in, it's a really nice Joker moment that I couldn't see in the trailer where he's like, he goes for the flower. I was like, oh, his flower must shoot water, but I couldn't see it. And then when I watched it on the big screen in 4K, by the way, I went to a 4K cinema, so it was
Ooh,
very, very
fancy.
nice in Dundrum. It was so good. And I was watching it, and I looked for the flower, and I was like, oh, it's such a good moment.
And speaking of that scene in the alleyway,
Yeah.
he has that amazing shot
The graphic novel shot.
where, yeah, he was trying to copy a graphic novel kind of frame.
Yeah.
And it is awkward. And I was watching, I was looking out for that as well, because
Yeah.
that's in the YouTube video that we're
Yeah.
talking about, where he just says that you rarely see that in a movie, this awkward angle. It's
Yeah.
up in an alleyway, but it's all tilted and it's off to where like the fire escape is.
Totally.
And it is a weird angle, but I never really clocked it in the movie.
Yeah.
But when he says it, then I was like, oh,
I understand that.
the man's a genius.
Yeah, the man's great.
Give him the Oscar.
Give him an Oscar.
And the titles.
Yes.
They did it old 70s style.
I love it.
Really cool.
It's a video well worth checking out right after you've watched the end of this straight to series video,
Yeah, of
obviously,
course,
because you
of
love
course.
this so
Yeah,
much.
exactly.
But
I got an education
me too.
watching it. And
Me too.
I really enjoyed being schooled by Todd Phillips, the guy
Yeah.
I totally underestimated.
Yeah, me too. And then I've taken away a lot, and like, I know that every director doesn't focus on running and how important it is, but for some reason, like, that really stuck with me, and I think I'm going to take it into other things now.
I think, though, it's a combination of Joaquin Phoenix as well.
Yeah.
Because, like, maybe normal actors just run.
Yeah.
You know, where Joaquin Phoenix actually spent time going, well, the character has to run like this.
Well,
you
Tom
know?
Cruise is the same though. He has he runs a certain way.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's a beauty.
it is.
It's beautiful to watch.
It is. It's great
Tom
to watch.
running.
Oh, I love it. Anyway, that's our non-spoiler review.
Yes.
So there'll be a timestamp or something where you can jump to us talking about Matt Reeves' Batman, but we're going to go into spoilers now.
Spoilers. So if you have not seen this,
Yeah.
we've given you
Yeah.
a good old chance.
A good old chance. And we're going to pause the recording and come back.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And we're back. 3, 2, 1, and it's spoilers.
Spoilers,
Now
go,
we're going to talk about spoiling it. I love.
He's dead.
He's
She's
dead.
dead.
He's dead. She's dead. These said. These did. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. So there's a lot of elements that you can only talk about this movie when you spoil it.
Yes.
So yeah, I love the fact that, just to get into his look and everything, that it's incestuous. And what I mean by that is,
Please explain that.
he obviously kills those 3 guys on the subway.
Yes.
And then those...
I'd like to think he did anyway.
Yes, I'd like to think he did, because this movie, obviously, he's an unreliable
It's so
narrator.
ambiguous.
Yeah.
Do you feel it's so ambiguous that everyone has their own idea of what really happened and what
really
didn't?
happened,
I'm
yeah.
sure. I don't want to be the cynical guy who's just like, well, he never left the hospital.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think
that's
that's,
no
the
fun.
case. No, I really don't think that's the case. There's a few things that I'm like 90% sure happened. You know, the movie gives me the option of not believing them, but I like to think that, you know, I'm pretty confident in knowing myself what happened and what didn't happen.
it's like a retroactive.
Yeah.
What do you call them?
What?
A retroactive interactive episode.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
Like, afterwards, going back, knowing that there's a potential that not all these scenes are actually happening.
A retroactive interactive movie.
Yes, a retroactive interactive movie. Yeah, but like
Unique New York.
Unique New York. But but I was kind of clued in that stuff wasn't happening. Like, I picked up on it early on in the movie.
Oh, okay.
I know. This is
Modest much?
maybe.
No, go on.
But I do own a podcast where I talk all the time, so clearly modesty isn't a big thing in my head.
Own's a very strong word.
I co-own a podcast. I am
Co-own.
I am lucky enough to be on Ian's podcast. You know.
That feels so much better.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
way messing with me.
No, but I am on a podcast where I talk a lot, so clearly I'm not particularly modest. But
And also, have you found you watch movies now that you know you're going to review?
Yeah.
And you're taking notes in your head, kind
Yeah.
of go, I want to talk about that
I want
element.
to talk about that. There's
it's a bit differently than just talking to your friends.
yeah, it really is. Like, I think of stuff that I want to bring up on the podcast. But no, it was when he's talking to the guy who gives him the gun. and the guy says, "Hey, listen, you know you're my friend Arthur. You know I like you, or whatever." I took that initially. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting that he would say that." You know,
Yeah.
it's that they have that relationship where he would just give him a gun, and then you find
You're my favorite as well.
You're my favorite.
That's a great indication right
Yeah.
there. Even though I didn't see it.
Yeah, and then he goes into the office and the guy's like, "Hey," and that character said you tried to buy a gun off him, and that happens early on in the movie, and I was like, "Okay, right." So that's not how he got that gun then.
Yeah.
So I was clued into that. But to get back to what I was saying about his look, the incestuous nature. So he kills those 3 guys and he has that clown outfit on.
Mm-hmm.
And then the papers put out this clown image and then they make the clown masks out of it.
I love when he tries
When he tries to emulate it.
Yeah.
Then, when he becomes the Joker, he takes that clown mask and turns himself into looking like the mask. So he inspires himself.
Yeah, no, I love that it's accidental as well.
Yeah.
It's not politically driven for him.
No.
So that's really good. And I felt like people were really hanging on that.
Yeah.
As if like, oh, it's so political. The Joker's not political.
He isn't. And that
He's a fucking dog that was just let off the leash.
I was trying to...
by accident.
Yeah. I was trying to remember what the line was that I thought was really Joker when he was on the talk show. And it's like, no, I have no political motive whatsoever. I killed those 3 guys because they were bad guys. I wanted to, basically. And, it got him noticed, which is the thing. That he was like, I never fully thought I was a real person, but now people are starting to see me.
I know, it's amazing.
It's so nice that he's like, now people see me and they like what they see.
The curtain jerk.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's just like,
back. Yeah.
And people are noticing.
Yeah.
There's so much goodness in this movie.
There really is.
We never even spoke about him dancing.
His dancing is...
And that scene is so elegant.
Yeah,
it comes after brutal violence.
Yeah, it is.
And I love the contrast.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just does this elegant dance. And we had spoken about this earlier off air, but on set, they actually had that music that you hear in the movie because Todd Phillips sent the script to the composer, which is this female cellist.
Yeah.
She's only done a few movies. And she wrote music to just the script after reading it. And that's what they had on set. And he played it at certain times just to get into a mood.
Yeah. And I think it really worked. Like,
was it unrehearsed as well?
That scene, they had him going into the bathroom. They didn't know what was going to happen in that scene, and they kind of just improvised the whole thing where he just danced and everything.
I wouldn't be surprised in the script he's supposed to freak out because he just killed 3 guys.
Yeah, or maybe he's like supposed to maybe laugh, like start laughing.
Maybe look in the mirror and be like,
because they have this thing where he has a neurological issue where he laughs at inappropriate times.
Yeah.
Maybe he starts laughing then, and he doesn't know why.
Yeah.
And like you said in the non-spoiler review, that the Joker is this, like, it's this way of helping Arthur out.
Yeah.
Whereas I still saw it as the Joker was always who Arthur is. This neurological issue of him laughing at inappropriate times, he's not. He's laughing at what he thinks is funny.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's hammered home when
it's like an internal battle then.
Yeah.
The Joker's trying to get out when he's laughing.
You know, they're medicating him and they're telling him, you have this problem with your laugh, and you see him trying to emulate what normal people find funny as opposed to what he finds funny.
Yeah, because it's always inappropriate.
Exactly. And I thought that was hammered home. The reason why I came away with that was when you see the flashback of his mother and you hear what happened to him as a child with the abusive father.
That is rough.
It is. I ended up really not liking the mother by the end of it, you know?
Oh, no. Me either.
Yeah.
What do you think, though? Do you think she had an affair with Thomas Wayne?
No, I don't think so.
You know when you see the photo, though?
Yeah.
After he killed her?
Yeah.
And it says like you've a beautiful
by
smile or
TW.
something like that. Yeah, I do love how they still want to let you question it a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, I do enjoy that. Even though I must say, when I first watched that movie and he made the connection with Batman and Joker being brothers, I was like, "Fuck this!
Yeah.
No, this can't. I don't want that. I don't want them to be brothers that are just fighting all the time. It's too much. It's too much of a connection because they are literally white and black. Like they're these two contrasting entities that are just going to be forever battling, and that's amazing. Let's not make them brothers as well.
No.
Let's not romanticize it more than it already
it adds
is.
too much of an element. I even like the way that it wasn't the Joker who killed Thomas Wayne. It was still a nameless mugger who had the Joker mask, you know?
Yeah.
And my other favorite thing is when he was shot, when Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne were shot, he still took the pearls because the pearls are big elements.
I did notice that as well, and like I'm not a huge I am a comic book fan, but I'm not engrossed in it like you are, and I wouldn't know as much, but I still loved the element of the pulling on the pearls.
I like the taking of the pearls because that's such great imagery in
It looks
Batman comics.
amazing in Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, it does.
actually does.
It looks really good. Now my problem with that as well is it's shot in such a Zack Snyder way where what would Thomas Wayne do? Make a fist and try and punch him. No,
of course.
It's such a Zack Snyder thing. And
it's the Watchmen intro.
Yeah, exactly.
But with Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, like I like it as well, but I always prefer the Thomas Wayne who's like, hey, listen, leave them alone, okay? Here's my money, okay? Just take my money.
Which is brilliant in Batman Begins.
In Batman Begins, like he's like, look, that's my wife and my kid, okay? Ignore them. I'll give you my money. You can have my watch or whatever. Just take it. I always prefer that version, but I like these different versions, you know?
I love the more darker Thomas Wayne though.
Yeah.
And it's mad that Alec Baldwin was going to play him.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that didn't happen.
It wouldn't work. It really wouldn't
and
work.
And I like Alec Baldwin.
Me too.
But I'm just so it would bring a different is Brett Cullen, is that his name?
Brett Cullen, yeah.
He makes him more questionable. He makes him like a bad guy. Even just that guy's face.
Yeah, he looks like a bad guy.
If he was a nice guy, I'd still be like, he has a hidden agenda.
Exactly.
And I like that.
It is nice.
But then we don't know.
We don't know
because we're seeing it from Arthur
Fleck's angle. You know what? I'm not even sure it says TW on that photo. You know, I think he just looked at that and it might have had a completely different initial, but he sees it and he's like, it said TW.
Could have been blank.
Could have been blank. Could have been exactly. It could have been blank.
Did he have a picture in his hand?
Yeah. Did he even have a picture in his hand? Who knows? But it was the scene. The reason I think that the Joker was always suppressed is that it's the scene where the mother is talking to the police and she's all bruised and she's like, you know, we found him tied to a radiator, emaciated, and she was like, he was such a happy boy, and that in my head that meant like his mother was getting beaten up and he was tied to a radiator, but he was sitting there with a smile on his face
laughing.
The whole time, or laughing or something.
I do like that though.
So I was sitting there thinking like, she went crazy. Not just because she was she was already a little psychotic, and then she was going through this thing with an abusive husband, but then her adopted son was sitting there enjoying it, seeming to enjoy it or something.
That is dark.
Yeah, but that was my interpretation of it.
Isn't it such a nice touch that he's standing in the same room that they're interviewing the mother in?
Yeah.
As an adult, Arthur Fleck, like he's
so
just standing there watching. I love that.
Yeah, I love that touch, and that you know, when you hear about what happened, like he's adopted. He's still. They harken back to the Joker. It's a classic Joker. At the end of it, turns out he is an Arthur Fleck.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that he's adopted, brilliant that you brought that up.
Yeah.
I love that element too, because then I'm like, we still don't know where he came from.
Yeah, he could be anyone.
He's still anonymous.
It's perfect.
I love that. I did love that. That was actually a great touch. And then you're like, I was so glad to see that he wasn't Batman's brother as well.
Yeah, me too. It's a relief, you know?
Also, Zazie Beetz, through that whole movie, I'm like, she's way too good looking for him.
Yeah,
she's way too good looking. I think I love Zazie Beetz. I think she's a phenomenal actress, but also she's so hot. Like
she's stunningly beautiful.
Especially when we seen her as Domino in Deadpool 2. I was like, I'm in love with this person.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
She's really good in Wounds as well. She's very beautiful.
Yeah. Atlanta.
And
her beauty's really downplayed in Atlanta. Yeah. She's just wearing like common clothes, you know.
She's still
beautiful.
Yeah.
Where Arthur Fleck, he's a wreck.
Yeah.
He looks horrible. Like he does. Like Joaquin Phoenix is not a bad looking guy, but with 52 pounds less, which is what was reported that he lost 52 pounds.
Yeah.
He's horrible looking.
He is.
He's scary.
And that was another thing.
Those pointy features, as we said.
Well,
even in his face.
That's how he looks like the Joker, you know?
He looks so much older as well.
He does. He looks aged.
Big time. And then when you see him on Jimmy Fallon a year after
so much
filming
younger.
he looks great.
He looks full. He looks like himself, you know?
The amount of weight that he has compared to Arthur Fleck.
Which is obviously like... It's another way, because he's such a method actor. It's probably another way of getting out of that character's headspace by putting on that weight and just when you look in the mirror not seeing him anymore, you know?
Did you hear him talk about when he loses all that weight, how he enjoys the control though?
Yeah.
That he has that sort of control.
Yeah.
Over his body.
He likes that, yeah.
He's a crazy person.
He is, but I like him.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about him being adopted and he been like the kid that's smiling at his mother getting abused. Yeah. Well, Joaquin Phoenix himself talks about how he seen signs of PTSD
in the Joker. Yeah, because
he's struggling with a past abuse or whatever it was. You know, so he really thought that he was struggling with PTSD through the whole movie as well, which was interesting.
It is, and There was some I was trying to say. I've forgotten it now.
Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz. Yeah. It's related to when I was saying that. When he talks about, and so when his boss says like, and you tried to buy a gun off this person. Like when I knew that. When they introduced Zazie Beetz, not only when they introduced her, but when she came to the door and she was like, "Hey, you're Arthur, right? You're a funny guy, Arthur." When she said that, I was like, "She's not real."
Also, she knows his name.
She knows his name. I was like, number one, never introduced himself, so how does she know his name? All that, I'm like, yeah, she's imaginary. So I clocked on that early.
When he walks into her room,
later
into her apartment, and he just sits down, and she's like, "Oh. You're Arthur, right? You
Arthur,
live down the hall.
Hey, where's your mom? Like, do you need something? She's actually being like really nice.
Oh my God, that is such an intense scene.
Didn't you get a Taxi Driver vibe? When he turns around and he does the.
Also, when he has the gun,
yeah,
and he's playing with it when he shoots the wall.
I love it.
I love that so much.
The one time I jumped in this movie was when he walked into the screen door at the hospital.
Oh, that's great. That's a great scene.
Yeah. He walks into the screen door.
And the police officer, your man, I think is Shea Wingham.
Yeah.
We only discovered that his daughter is the female lead in The Punisher season 2.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
I love that actor as well. He's really good.
He's in everything.
He is, and I think he's really good on the subway. When all the people start turning against him, his reaction is just, it's like, watch,
get the fuck down, stop fighting, and he's freaking out.
Like you feel his terror on the subway.
Oh, big time.
I think it's really good. Even in that Death Note. Did you see Death Note? No, it was never.
I did. It's been so long ago now. I've seen it with Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, with Willem Dafoe on the Netflix thing. That's not a good movie, but I really like his performance in it as his dad.
Really fun.
I think he's really, really good. But yeah, when he's like, he does such a good job, and he's like, "Hey, get down!" and then people start turning on him, and he looks terrified.
How scary would that be, though?
Yeah.
And then he just like skips
Joker's
off.
like skipping off and everything. Oh, it's amazing. And there's just so many good things. I see there's a few things like I was saying. We've covered that. And his dancing throughout the whole thing is amazing.
It's fantastic. I was telling you that I watched an interview with Joaquin Phoenix, and he was talking about the dancing on the steps.
Yeah.
Which, isn't it crazy how iconic that is all of a sudden?
All like
instantly.
It's instantly iconic.
Have you seen on Google the location?
No.
The location where they filmed that. I think it's New York. I want to say it's New York.
Yeah.
It's now down as like a holy place, holy location on Google. So the fans have been just tagging it as like this holy location.
That's so cool.
It's amazing. But yeah, the dancing. Sure, it's on the screen there. Actually, you can see him dancing. It's the poster. It's an absolute iconic scene now.
You were telling me how they filmed it, and I loved it. You should explain that for people who don't know.
So Joaquin Phoenix, when the music hits, isn't that the
Gary Glitter song?
Gary Glitter song. That's more controversy to add on to the controversy.
Yeah.
Layers of controversy. But anyway, when he's dancing to the Gary Glitter song, he's really in tune with it. Like he's really in time, and he's a good dancer in a way. Almost, look, he keeps doing the hip thrust.
And then he has a guitar moment at one stage, but it's not really a guitar moment. It's just it's so good.
But the whole thing is that's in his head.
Yeah.
Because then, so they did that in like the normal 24 frames per second.
Yeah.
And then they had to shoot at a higher frame rate because it goes into slow motion. And the slow motion scene, the score kicks in.
Yeah.
At the real dark, somber kind of score, and that's supposed to be what is really happening.
Yeah.
Where he's dangly and he's weird and awkward and nothing looks right and it's horrible. And Joaquin Phoenix, he salivates talking about this. Like, he loves this scene, and he's just talking about how that's actually what's really happening. Is what we're seeing there. There's no music. He doesn't look cool. He looks awkward and weird. I love that.
Again, like we said in the non-spoiler, underestimating Todd Phillips as a director, because all of that is direction.
Of course, like,
it's brilliant.
Surely that has to have been, obviously, if you're changing frame rates, then like it's written into the script. So kudos to him.
Kudos to him. There's a few things that I want to talk about as a comic book fan. There's some Joker moments in this that I love, where he's really like the Joker.
Were you let down with the talk show scene?
No,
because remember you were asking me about it. I was waiting for the cup.
So the famous thing in The Dark Knight Rises, or The Dark Knight Returns is he goes on a talk show, and
he gasses the people, doesn't he?
gasses everyone. It's more.
Of course, that wasn't going to happen.
Obviously, yeah, that's more of a Joker, like a proper Joker moment. But like when he goes in, he has this great line where he's like, "Can I keep this mug?" And then he's like, "Yeah, of course. You know, we give it to all our guests." Oh,
like a Conan mug or
yeah,
whatever.
it's like a Conan mug. Actually,
Conan voices
him in the animated thing. Exactly. And he's like, "Hey, can I keep this mug?"
That
he's
was
like,
an accident. And then I connected in my head. Like, oh.
Yeah. And
Scramble for the trivia.
Scramble. Trivia scramble. I love that.
Trivia scramble.
That's a good game show.
That's our next episode. Or
Cut the stream.
Copyright.
But yeah, he says, "Can I keep this mug?" And then he smashes it and he cuts the throat of the TV host and he cuts the throat of the people, the guests and everything. And that's such an iconic moment. So when I knew there was a talk show element and Robert De Niro being a talk show host, which we haven't spoken about yet, but we need to. We need to get into that at some stage. I thought that was going to happen. But no, I thought they were building up that he has the gun and he's like, he's going to tell the joke. He's like, "Hey, knock, knock." And he goes like this or whatever. You know, he shoots himself basically. But I thought building up to that moment was great and it fit the movie it was in, you know? I really think it's a great moment. Now, it's not my favorite Joker moment in it. Like the part where he kills the guy who gave him the gun, and then lets the little person. I don't know. Is it what's the
dwarf? No, maybe it's not dwarf. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
It changes every month.
When he lets the English guy go. You know, I love that. I think that's the most Joker-like scene in the entire movie. It's so
scary when he can't open the door because then you're like, oh wait, will he change his mind now?
Yeah.
And like then no, he doesn't. Like, I love how he kisses his head. And he's like, "You're always nice to me."
He was like, "You were the only one who was ever nice to me," and that's why that makes that scene earlier when he's faking that laugh so much better.
Yes,
you know, he has that fake hysterical laugh where he's like, "Ah," and it's over the top, and then when he gets around the corner, cuts it off. You know.
Speaking of that laugh, one of my favorite scenes. Now I have around 50 favorite scenes of this.
The list keeps getting longer.
I know. As we talk about it, like, that with the steps is definitely up there. That could be my number one. Actually, just talking about it now. But when he's doing his when he's researching stand up, and he's got his notebook, but he's laughing out of sync with everyone because he just doesn't fit into the box that is society.
Yeah,
he's a strange individual, and he's not getting the humor.
No,
he's actually not getting it. So every time the comedian says a joke, audience laughs, and then he realizes, oh, I should be laughing, and then he laughs out of time.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love how he's out of sync with society in general.
Do you notice he writes on it slick back hair, and then for the rest of the movie he slicks his hair back?
No, I did not notice
Written
that.
on the pad, he's like slick back hair, and he has like a question mark.
Something about sex. Then he's
and then there's sexy
topics or something.
It's like sex is a unique topic or something.
Or always funny or
always
something
funny.
like that.
Sex is always funny. Funny sex stories or something.
Yeah, it's something like that.
And but yeah, he writes slick back hair, and then I noticed for the rest of the movie he has his hair kind of slicked back. There's always something to it.
Todd Phillips, you genius.
Yeah, you genius. But
what were you doing wasting your time with Hangover 2 and 3?
Yeah, I know.
I must say War Dogs, though.
Great movie.
I really like that movie.
It's a great movie. And I really like Due Date. There's some strong performances in that you wouldn't expect.
You know what? The first Hangover was amazing. It's like, really, it actually was such a unique comedic film at the time.
Totally.
I guess the fact that he did a trilogy and the second one was worse than Diminishing Returns. The third one was just
anyway,
again.
But I loved that every time, you know, he's out of sync with society. But you know, I kind of wanted a bit more of him being this unreliable narrator and a bit more hints that maybe he was doing things on purpose, you know? Like when he brings the gun to the children's hospital, you know, when it falls out.
Yeah, I love that scene.
Like,
and he's like, shh, kid.
That's amazing. But in my head, I kind of wanted maybe for him to be like, maybe he brought that gun on purpose, you know? Ooh. Maybe he thought it was funny, you know, if he had a real gun or something.
Just his own little joke.
Yeah, his own joke. In his head, he might have.
They don't know I have a gun.
Yeah, they don't know I have a gun, and he might have found that humorous in some way. Or even when the guy accused him, he's like, "Apparently, you stole a sign." Now we saw the opening scene, and we know that he got beaten up or whatever. But even maybe you just see, like, he fixed the sign. It's like it's stuck together again, but he kept it. You know, because that's just.
Does he even know he kept it?
Does he even realize? He doesn't even realize that he kept it, or maybe he held on to it because he just wanted to see what would happen.
Well, for me, I found it really nicely balanced with the unreliable narrative, as you said, or narrator, as you said. But I must say, the second time you watch it, it's way more enjoyable then, because you're like, you just start analysing it differently, and that's what I loved. I think that's why I loved it more the second time.
Yeah.
Because I was starting to go, where Fight Club, I didn't. Like, Fight Club does the bait and switch as well.
Yeah.
But with Fight Club, that switch is everything. You know that way?
Yeah.
That's one of those movies where, like Kaiser Soze at the end of the Usual Suspects, you'll never enjoy it as much as that first time.
No.
Where you're like, oh, Bruce Willis was dead all along.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I love The Usual Suspects. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But with this, I enjoyed it because it wasn't a huge, everything wasn't relying on this one big twist. It wasn't a Shyamalan twist at the end.
And the clues, and they gave you clues throughout the movie.
Totally.
You know, they told you part of the time, he's not telling you exactly what happened.
Yeah.
You know, like, I keep ignoring it, forgetting that it happened. He has that whole daydream about being on Robert De Niro's show.
Right at the start.
Right at the beginning. And it's telling you, like, this guy, you're getting it from his ankle, which therefore means completely unreliable. So it's, like, I always forget that scene.
That's a great scene.
Yeah.
This second time I watched it, I was like, how did I not get the whole Zazie Beetz thing being fictitious? Yeah, because I totally forgot about that scene because it's so early on.
Yeah, and you don't even think about it because it's done in such a way that, like, at the time it's like, oh, this is very obviously not real.
Yeah.
So then for the rest of the movie, it kind of tricks you into lulling into it where it's like, no, this is very obviously not real.
Yeah, yeah.
It kind of tricks you into thinking like, oh, but the rest of this is real, you know?
It's just a daydream.
It's a double fault, basically.
Yeah.
No, double bluff, not a double fault.
Well, we should talk about De Niro's performance.
Yes, we got to talk about De Niro's performance. I loved it. I thought it was a harkening back to his, like, character, charismatic, and he's really likable.
It's been a while since I've seen him as being funny.
Yeah.
And in Meet the Parents, his humor's so dry.
Yeah.
Where he's a little bit more flamboyant, he's jokey, charismatic is exactly what he is.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I felt that way about De Niro.
And the fact that he ends his show with, like, that's life. And
that's life.
That's,
and he does
that's a recurring theme. He
dance.
Does this whole,
I love that.
It's a real Johnny Carson kind of classic 60s, 70s talk show vibe.
And the film ends with that as well.
Yeah.
With Joaquin Phoenix singing it for a second as well.
That's great.
Well, he kind of just he speaks it.
But he's like singing it, and you hear the music.
It's so sinister when he says it.
Yeah.
You know, it just changes the tone of the song.
It does.
I love that. I love when you get something like that.
Yeah.
Where if you just look at something from this little tilted angle, you're like, oh, now it's scary. All of a sudden, you know.
Yeah. It's like it's like Us. You know, they have this song. I Got Five on it. But then when you slow that down, you pick up the violin from it, it's also all of a sudden more sinister.
Yeah,
you know, good directors do stuff like that, especially with music. It's a fun way of doing.
God damn it, Todd Phillips, you got us again.
But I think De Niro really embodied, like, this talk show, this charismatic talk show host. Like I was saying, something I noticed, like, especially when he comes backstage to see the Joker and whatever, is his teeth are super white.
Does he have a towel around them as well?
He has something around his neck. I think he has like a makeup sheet or something.
Oh yeah, that's probably
And he has his glasses on. He has a mug, and like he feels like a talk show host.
Yeah.
Like he's this celebrity. He's in front of the camera, and when he's behind the camera, he's really hardworking and everything. But like, it's all about his persona and everything. I
was so glad to see De Niro do this.
Yeah,
because it's just. People watching or listening to this right now will go, I can't see De Niro doing that.
Yeah.
But it's just been a while since he really kind of let loose.
Yeah.
And it's not even him letting loose, but it's just him being fun, playing a fun character.
Yeah, it's great.
He's still got it.
He does.
You know, it's kind of fun to see that he's still got it when it comes to even characters like that are a bit more upbeat.
It's so good. I love the violence in this movie as well. Like, there's not a lot of it, but when it's violent, it's violent.
It's harsh. It's blunt.
There's one of my
blunt is like it is really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's just
and that like I was
visceral
saying,
almost.
Yeah, I was saying in the non-spoiler review, like. When he becomes the Joker, he's all of a sudden gets this physicality that you don't expect. When
his frame doesn't change at all.
No, but all of a sudden he seems much bigger. Like he's shirtless when he bashes your man's head in, but all of a sudden this anorexic kind of looking guy gets these muscles come out of nowhere as he just starts bashing him.
Where was that prowess?
Yeah,
like it's just whoa.
Yeah, like it was always there, just under the surface. And
that's a big dude that he does that to.
That's an excellent dichotomy as well. And he has the scissors in the back pocket and everything,
which he puts in his back pocket before he answers the door as well. So he knows shit's about to get real.
He knows he's ready for shit to go down.
And your man is saying, "Why are you saying this?"
Yeah.
So who's right?
Yeah. I
You
love
know?
that. As he's leaving, he's like,
That makes you question it again.
you were the one who gave me the gun. And he's like, oh, and fucking when he says time to punch out and he punches the thing off the wall, that's another great moment.
Oh, talk about fucking blood
Yeah.
violence to that clock out machine.
I love it. Or when he like snuffs out his mother or whatever, you know, and there's the redone version of the line. I realize it's a fucking comedy, you know, and it's such a good scene. And then that's right before he sees himself on TV, you know?
True, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd like, there's certain things that you're like, oh, did that happen or did that not happen? But that talk show, that had to have happened.
I was going to say, every time you see that talk show, it 100% happened, except for the daydream,
start.
you know?
Yeah.
And you know it's a daydream because instead of, like, when you're at the talk show, you know, you understand when that's a daydream, but the talk show feels like something that 100% happened.
Speaking of the talk show, you hit me with some trivia. Justin Theroux, when he's rehearsing his entrance,
he's copying,
which is great. It's really cool. I love that scene.
And he's doing the whole, and he's like, how do I sit and everything, and it's such a weird thing to focus on, but it's great.
But
and
Justin Theroux is the guest on the TV.
Yeah, the actor that he's trying to mimic.
That's brilliant.
Know? Yeah. And then obviously Brian Callen is the AIDS stripper or whatever.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. But I think the last thing I wanted to talk about on this movie, I don't know if you have anything else after this, but I was predicting lines at the end of it. So like, you know, I'm a big comic book fan. I've read lots of this stuff. Not bragging. Being a comic book fan isn't something to brag about. I've wasted a lot of my hours reading these things, but I have
lost a lot of lunch money.
Lost a lot of lunch money in my past. But like reading all these stories, you get a sense of who the Joker is and what he's like.
Definitely.
And so when he was the Joker, I found myself kind of predicting what he would say and how he'd react to things, and it was really satisfying for me as a comic book fan to know, like, yes, this is an alternative version of the Joker, but there are elements of him that are kind of universal.
Definitely.
And the one line that sticks with me is, and it's one that I can hear in Mark Hamill's voice, I can hear it in Heath Ledger's. It's when he's laughing, he's just sung "It's Life," "That's Life," or no, it's before he sings "That's Life."
Yeah.
And it's at the very end, and she's like, "What are you laughing at? What's so funny?" And he just kind of looks at her and he goes, "You wouldn't get it." And it's like that's a perfect Joker line, you know?
So dark as well when he says it.
Yeah, but in my head, I heard it. I even heard it in like Mark Hamill's voice. It was like, "You wouldn't get it," you know? And then he just stares her down, and I just think that's great. Is there any last things you want to say?
Well, we didn't cover that the fact that we sympathized with the Joker, and I wanted to get that off my chest.
Yeah.
Because all the controversy it almost made you guilty. Like, oh well, you can't see this guy as a hero, and I don't see him as a hero.
No, definitely
but I have
not.
immense sympathy for the guy.
Yeah.
I completely sympathize with Arthur Fleck.
Yeah.
Maybe not Joker.
No.
But with Arthur Fleck, like, life is just kicking him in the balls constantly,
all the time.
And then when you find out about his backstory as well, the childhood abuse.
Yeah.
Like, and while I was watching it, okay, I like the first time I watched that, I was going, oh my god, I fully sympathize with the Joker and all this controversy about how it promotes real world violence and that he's depicted as a hero.
Yeah.
I think is bullshit, but at the same time, any really good villain with a really good backstory, you should sympathize with to a degree.
Yeah.
And what I was only speaking to my friend about this on the way home, after we seen it, and he loved it as well. He absolutely loved it. And I was saying to him, you know what? It would be terrible if he was just a bad guy from the get-go.
Totally.
And you're like, oh, he's just a prick to everyone.
Yeah.
And then I was just saying to my mate, I was like, well, I'm sure like every good villain, you should see a little part of his side as well. And I thought of someone like Magneto. Like his backstory. How do you not sympathize with a Jew that was caught up in the Holocaust?
Exactly.
And the spark that started his mutation, well, the mutation was always there, but what set it alight was him losing his parents during the Holocaust. And then you see the parallels years later where he's getting ostracized because he's a mutant.
Yeah.
We're back to square one. And I'm like, same thing with the Joker. Like, like, why should you not feel sympathy for someone going through heartbreak and just life kicking them while they're down?
Yeah, totally. Even in The Killing Joke, you know, there's that great element of, you know, his wife dies when
just all of a sudden,
his wife dies, and he's agreed to, you know, do this mob thing to make money for her, but it turns out she's dead. But he still has to do the mob thing.
And he's failing at realizing his dream as a stand-up comedian as well. That's not going well.
And like the whole reason he was at the chemical plant, according to him, is that the mob guys, which I always love this element. The mob guys are like, yeah, since Batman's around, we started dressing this guy up as the Red Hood, but really we're just there to rob things. Batman will go after the Red Hood and we'll get away.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. You're just a decoy.
Yeah, I always loved that element, and he goes there just as a decoy, and he ends up becoming this like terrible, like just agent of chaos. You know,
Of course. But how lame would it be if like the Joker movie started with Arthur Fleck just being an absolute cocky dick to everyone? You'd be like,
when he's the exact opposite.
yeah, exactly. And that's why you root for him until he starts killing people, of course.
Yeah.
But when I was watching it, I just thought, you're actually a psychopath if you don't have sympathy for this guy.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, like any good storytelling. You know?
Yeah.
And that's the problem with some of Marvel's superheroes. When you get someone like the Dark Elves, like, well, they're not called the Bright Elves, and they're just bad guys. They're just bad guys.
That,
yeah. They're just bad guys.
For no reason.
And you don't wear Loki.
Yeah.
The fact that he's adopted, he doesn't know where he really came from. He never feels truly loved by his parents.
Yeah.
And then Thor is this absolute specimen, the golden child.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally. So like you really see, you can kind of understand him,
Totally.
even though you don't
agree, but you understand.
Yeah, you, at least you understand where the animosity is coming from.
Yeah. I loved in the movie the first example of him having the laugh that is uncontrollable, that I believe later is him laughing at what he genuinely finds funny, is when he's on the bus and he's doing it for the child.
That's not the first one.
Isn't that the first time?
It starts with him talking to his counselor.
And that's when he has no.
It's so awkward.
Is it?
Yeah, and then I think he's coming from that. But
okay.
but you don't know what's going on. Yeah, because you don't even know. Yeah. So he's laughing uncontrollably.
Yeah.
And I remember that scene, and because this is how I know that comes first.
Oh, okay.
It's because I was like, what the fuck is he laughing at?
Yeah.
And then he chokes on his own laugh. It's horrible.
Yeah, he's trying to stop.
That looks really painful in
does.
real life.
Looks like it hurts him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks so rehearsed that he really digs in deep. You can see his throat tensing up in the veins. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And that comes first. And the only reason I know that is because when he starts doing that, I'm like,
yeah.
What is this?
But anyway, when
it's first revealed that it's actually
it's a neurological thing.
Yeah.
Neurological thing. But I mean, I think you find out later that it's what he really finds funny is that that's a great Joker moment where he gives the card to her and she's like, it's a condition or whatever. I like when I think about that scene now, I think what he's laughing at is he's like, no, I was actually trying to cheer up the kid, and in his head he was going, I could do horrible things to this child, and that wouldn't be that funny, would it? That's what I was thinking.
This opinion says a lot about you, Connor.
I know, yeah, but that was my interpretation. It was like, this woman thinks I'm doing terrible things to her child, when in reality I could be doing terrible things to him, and that's what he's finding funny there.
Do you know what one bad thing about this movie is?
What?
It's not thought-provoking.
It isn't. No, not thought-provoking at all. It doesn't leave anything open for interpretation.
No, that's a great way of looking at it as well. Or just anything that you shouldn't laugh at, he laughs at. It's great. Also, I noticed when he's in the comedy club and he tells his joke, when people are laughing. Yeah. Now, I noticed this the second time. It goes to his kind of view.
Yeah.
And the lights are so dim, you can't see anyone.
Yeah. And then he's almost...
So, question, like, the minute when I'm watching the second time, I'm like, did anyone laugh?
I also think he's also laughing late. Like, you see him... Initially, when you watch it, you see him trying, and you think, oh, yeah, he's trying to mimic them. He's trying to laugh at what they find funny. But I think there's a moment where he's looking around, and he's seeing what people find funny, and he's deliberately he might even subconsciously, he's deliberately waiting so that he can laugh out of time because he actually thinks that's funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
he thinks his own awkwardness is funny.
Yeah.
Well, he's laughing out of time is funny.
Laughing out of time is funny because that's what he
being
thinks.
Weird is funny almost. Yeah.
It's like being out there, and even when he gets on stage, he's laughing because he's like his uncontrollable laugh starts, and I think it's because he goes up and he's like, oh, no one's laughing and they're all staring at me. Isn't this hilarious? Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's a really cool way of looking at it.
But yeah, I think we should move on to like Matt Reeves Batman things.
There's a lot to unpack with that as well. All the casting.
Will we pause?
Yeah.
Okay, and so we're just going to quickly talk about, because it's related, the Batman casting news that came out this week.
There's some good stuff there, isn't there?
And then we're going to finish off this kind of DC-centric podcast that we've done. So we finally have our Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz, who is...
phenomenal.
Phenomenal choice. Excellent choice. She, even like when we have a picture of her up here, she looks feline. Like,
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I thought of as well is Zoe Saldana also has that feline feature
Yeah,
about her,
yeah.
but she's a bit older.
Yeah.
Like I think she's in her 40s, and they're obviously looking for a younger Batman
No,
and Catwoman.
yeah.
But that feline quality, I love that.
Totally. And I think she's an excellent choice. And obviously her stepdad is Jason Momoa, who is
Aquaman.
You should check out the Instagram post he made because it's like so heartfelt, and
I haven't seen it yet.
You should have a look. And she's so like smitten by him clearly as well.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Also, it must be really weird that she wants to fuck the shit out of her stepdad.
Must be very weird.
Also, Michelle Pfeiffer and Halle Berry got on this train
all got
as
on
well.
this train and were like, hey, look, this is great. They offered advice and stuff and thought that she's great casting and everything.
That's
so it's
really
good.
cool. And I must say, when I seen those tweets or whatever they were, I was like, oh yeah, Halle Berry played Catwoman.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, but it's nice that there's not a lot of backlash as well. But I suppose the precedent has been set for having like I don't know why Catwoman's like, it's not a big deal who plays her, you know?
Yeah.
As long as the actor fits the role.
You're talking about ethnicity and all that.
And everything.
Yeah, I know.
It makes no difference.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I think I've seen one or two people giving out about it, and I'm like,
I don't get it.
I really don't understand.
I really don't.
I cannot understand.
Yeah. I when you look at her, I think, yeah, that's Catwoman.
Like, more than Anne Hathaway.
Yeah. It was the same.
And I really like Anne Hathaway in that role, but I don't know, Anne Hathaway is like water to me. You know, that way there's not much of a taste. I don't know. And like she's a great actress. She actually is really good. Interstellar.
Yeah.
She nails it.
Amazing.
Like I like her performance more than the movie, to be honest with you. But I don't know. I never sparked to her.
Yeah.
I think Zoe Kravitz will home run.
It. She's an excellent choice. And I can see her being a badass as well. This kind of sexy badass.
100%. 100%.
And like the photo you have up of Robert Pattinson as well, it's a real Bruce Wayne photo, and I like that as well.
That's why I picked it.
Yeah. I know you were saying that earlier, but when I see that photo, I can see like this charming billionaire,
a young Bruce Wayne,
this charming young Bruce Wayne. Like when I see that photo,
absolutely crushing pussy.
I was like, when I look at that photo, I see what the public would see from Bruce Wayne.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
Like I'm looking at that, and he's like, look at him, sly smirk. You know,
what a good guy.
What a good guy. You know, this real. Like he's.
Why am I undressing?
No, I don't know. It just feels right, you know.
Stick it here, please.
Yeah, come here, Robert. No, but I like when I see that photo. So that's why I was saying earlier, I really want to see him in the suit because I want to see the real Bruce Wayne.
I know, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I want to see him.
And for anyone who's listening to this and not watching it, you can check out our Instagram because I'm after posting this up.
But the other big news now is
just sorry for the picture, like in case they're wondering what pictures we're talking about. Because if you're not seeing it on YouTube, you can check it out on our Instagram as well.
Totally. But the other big casting news this week is Jonah Hill is out as the Riddler and Paul Dano is in, which is an even better choice.
It is an even better choice.
Yeah, like in my opinion. Like,
and I was on the Jonah Hill train. Totally.
So was I.
When he said Paul Dano, I'm like, well,
perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
No problem.
It was like I saw the news that Jonah Hill was out, and I was like, oh shit. Maybe the Batman's in trouble, and then maybe Batman needs my help.
I'll help you, Batman.
Batman's stuck down a well. What was that, lassie? And then I saw Paul Dano was cast, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so much better.
You'd be just scraping gum off Batman's like boots. That would be you helping
totally,
Batman.
That'd be me. I'd be like fixing, I don't know, washing the Batmobile or something stupid.
And when you're talking about Paul Dano, sorry, but when you're talking about Paul Dano. Who was it that I compared him to? Oh yeah, I compared him to his character in Prisoners, and I was thinking, oh, that'd be cool. But you slapped me in the face with one way better.
I was thinking of him in There Will Be Blood. You know,
much better
as this charismatic, manipulative, like terrible guy that you love to hate.
Oh,
you know?
you love to hate. Like he is so hateable on that.
He is.
Anyone who grew up in the 90s, he's like the triple H.
Yeah, he really is.
Of movies, like
he's so hateable.
Him in 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
Man,
awful.
Like, I was offended for the things he's saying. You know,
you know what? I think he'll make a good Riddler because I can see him as the Riddler who's kind of smarmy. He knows more than you, and therefore you can't touch him. Like he's like, you could beat me up, but then you'll never, know what happens. Kind of like the interrogation scene in The Dark Knight Rises, in The Dark Knight. But I also see him as the Riddler, who when he gets outsmarted is furious.
Oh, big
You
time.
can see the rage and like him building up. He's like, "How could you do?" And
His physique and everything. Like
it's everything.
He's he's perfect. He's really good for the Riddler.
He is, and he's kind of, it's actually just excellent casting. You can see him with the cane and everything.
I don't know if it will fit into this version of Batman, because the cane is a bit kooky.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be against it.
It's an element of the Riddler that I really like his cane.
The Jim Carrey Riddler.
Yeah.
100%. He should have 2 canes.
He should have more than one cane.
He needs more canes.
He should have different sequined outfits.
100%.
Spike his hair like Ace Ventura. Oh, crazy.
We should talk about how Jonah Hill may have talked himself out of this role as well.
Yes.
Or at least negotiated himself out of this role.
Looking for more money. He was looking for 10 million.
This is the rumor, but now many media outlets have covered this. And he was looking for 10 million. And you might go, well, it's a big movie. Why it might not have worked is because Robert Pattinson is getting less than 5 million for this role. So it's just strange that the Riddler would get more than Batman.
Yeah, although there is, like we were saying, we kind of thought about it, and there might be precedent in the past. Like the Batman villain is kind of a huge draw of the movie. And then like Arnold Schwarzenegger was surely making more than...
George Clooney. Because George Clooney was just coming off ER. He hadn't made big budget movies or anything like that.
Yeah.
And Schwarzenegger was top billing.
He was. And then like even in the one before that, we weren't sure whether Tommy Lee and maybe Jim Carrey got more than Val Kilmer. Like it's probably up in the air.
Jim Carrey was on the up and up back then, like the late 90s. He was crushing it.
Yeah. Chris O'Donnell as well. He probably made nothing from the movie.
Oh, I wouldn't say
almost
so.
Nothing.
And it only cost him his career.
Yeah. He probably made nothing, and then Alicia Silverstone made twice as much nothing. She made just less.
Yeah.
Far less.
Definitely.
But
also, Chris O'Donnell probably had to put up with Joel Schumacher.
Trying to fuck him the whole time.
You educated me on the fact that Joel Schumacher had a hand in starting the AIDS epidemic.
Yeah, clearly.
How many people he said he
slept
fucked?
with over 20,000 or like 10,000 men or something. He said, he didn't say men. He said sexual partners.
Sexual partners.
He's like, maybe he counts his mother because he was technically inside her,
God.
Jesus. But someone did the math, and it would mean he'd have to have sex like 3 times a day for the last, I don't know, since he was 13 or something.
Yeah. Unless just a tip counts as one.
Anyway, Joel Schumacher.
Joel Schumacher
has allegedly had a lot of sex, basically.
Yeah.
But
self-confessed, like this is coming from him.
Yeah. But the other big Batman casting is Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, which I think is perfect.
Man, this got strong foundations. This film.
Yeah, it really does. It's got very strong foundations, getting stronger by the minute.
Yes. Jeffrey Wright, 100% I'm in.
Yeah, me too. And I like the idea that like he's older, he's voiced. You can see him giving orders to people, and then to have him go up against a younger Batman is a great fit.
Perfect.
Because you can see like the struggle that would there when they're trying to trust each other, and they're trying to work together.
When I hear his voice and even the way he stands, especially in Westworld, he's got a bit of meat on his bones. He's a big enough dude.
Yeah.
He's like the teacher you don't fuck with.
No. You do not fuck with Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah.
And like I just think he is, if you're going for a Gotham that is hard and like a tough place to live, Jeffrey Wright is the Commissioner Gordon I can see, who like not only that, who gets his hands dirty and gets in there. He's a very capable Jim Gordon. That's what I think.
I think it's brilliant. And I was only talking to you earlier about how there's been a bit of backlash. Like some people have been really against Jeffrey Wright.
It's got to be racial.
Yeah. Has to be. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Like 100% got the acting chops.
Totally.
The age, the voice,
everything.
His prowess, everything. Like it ticks all the right boxes.
It does. Like
I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. Maybe like I'm being too PC about it or whatever. But like I would not be the person to jump on the bandwagon and be like, oh well, you're being racist. But it's the only thing I can think of because I think he's perfect.
Like none of those seem to me like they all seem like perfect pass for the role.
Robert Pattinson is the only one that I can truly understand.
Yeah.
I understand. I had reservations as well.
Me too.
I'm being optimistic about this.
I'm getting more and more like I think I'm getting more and more optimistic about this movie is because when they start making right decisions in other casting areas, like Robert Pattinson was the first name we heard, and when you hear Robert Pattinson's going to be Batman, you're like, oh, that's kind of strange. And then you hear about Zoe Kravitz is now Catwoman, and Paul Dano is now the Riddler and Jeffrey Wright is Commissioner Gordon. You're like, all of those decisions are amazing and I can see them. So maybe I must be wrong about Robert Pattinson. They must see something that I don't see, and it's making me more excited about the movie.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And Michael Giacchino was just confirmed as the composer.
Yes, and he's composed like Up, The Incredibles,
Ratatouille. But he's also had his hand deep in comic book films as well, as he did the last 2 Spider-Man movies. He's also did Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and he's worked with Matt Reeves before on Rise.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes and War of the Planet of the Apes.
Totally. So he's, he's good for it.
He's a fantastic composer. He did Star Trek, the new trilogy with Chris Pine as well.
And like, I love the Batman theme, the 1989 one, the one from the animated series. Batman themes I live for.
Yeah.
Even the Batman Beyond theme, Jesus, I love that. It's so good. It's so retro and it's not retro. It's like neo-futurist. Oh, it's great. I love Batman themes, so I'd be excited to hear a new one.
Yeah, it's time for a new one.
It's time for a new one, and a really good one as well.
And I hope he doesn't do what he did with Spider-Man, where he reverted. Michael Giacchino reverted right back to the original TV. Team.
Yeah.
Because that worked.
Totally.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But with this one,
I want something
fresh
new.
take.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I want something new. There are elements of the Batman theme that I like from the old ones, but I'd really like a fresh one I hadn't heard before, one that I can sink my teeth into.
You know what? I'm thinking that he might have won an Oscar for War of the Worlds.
Really?
Oh, sorry, not War of the Worlds, War of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, really? For composing?
Yeah. Let me just check real quickly. Because if he's just coming off an Academy Award as well.
Yeah. But just while you're looking that up, Paul Dano...
look at his resume.
Jesus. Huge, excellent resume.
Oh, he did Incredibles 2 as well. Mission Impossible 3, Super 8.
Awesome.
Wow,
those are some good movies.
Got a serious body of work.
Well, he's
Coco as well. Oh, that was really good.
That is good. He's done a lot of J.J. Abrams work. Impossible 3, Super 8, Star Trek Into Darkness, Star Trek Beyond. That's a lot of JJ.
A huge amount of JJ, and I trust in JJ.
I do. I trust in JJ. But there are a few... it looks like that's our main cast, so there are a few Riddler stories that I would like to see. Like, I'm just going to recommend them. I'm not going to go through them here because, it's going on for a while. But Earth 1 does a great Riddler story where, it's a fresh take on the Riddler. It's something we haven't seen, and it might be interesting in a movie. And then in 0 Year is another great Riddler story that people should check out.
I must check them out.
Yeah.
And it was Up that he won.
Oh, okay. Rightfully so. I mean, that song is... When you said Up song, it's like I can hear it.
Oh, yeah. That intro.
Totally. That's all you need.
Heartbreaking. Anyway.
Speaking of heartbreaking... It's time to end straight to series.
We're sorry.
We're so sorry.
I know you want more.
I know. We want more. But we hope you enjoyed this episode. We didn't cover a lot, but it was all themed.
We covered a lot of Joker.
And I thoroughly enjoyed talking about it.
I needed to get all those words out of my system.
Same. I needed to get all that out to the world so that you can all tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want to know.
Great.
But thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we'll see you next week for a very special episode.
Super special.
Thank you.
Goodbye. See you later. Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh yeah,
it was the musical episode. All right, bye.